Have you ever been to San Miguel de Allende? This is my very first time here, and I'm super excited about it. I didn't even know this place existed until some friends that I met in Sayulita. Until some friends that I met in Sayulita told us about it. We actually started out in Sayulita. We got there on March 24, 2023. And I know this because we landed on my birthday, and it was just my partner and I, and my old business partner was living in Sayulita, still is actually. So anyway, Sayulita was cool. We were there for 7 months, which is way longer than we intended to be there. But what ended up happening was that we just met people and got involved in the community and loved the area. We found a house that we really, really loved and felt connected to. And we were intending to leave Sayulita after 2 months of having arrived there, but we ended up extending and 7 months later, we said goodbye for now to Sayulita, and that's how we ended up in San Miguel de Allende. A few months into the trip in Sayulita, I ended up going back to Boca Raton, where my dog was living with my parents for just a short while. I mean, they were watching him for me while I was figuring things out in Mexico. And once I figured out that it would be easy to actually bring my dog, I went back home to Boca to go grab him. Riley is a service dog. He is 12 years old. He's really, really spry for his age, which is cool because I don't want him to die. I mean, I always tell him that. I don't know if you have a dog, maybe you know what I'm talking about, but I'm constantly telling my dog that he has to live forever. Hopefully that's not mean. So anyway, Sayulita is like a really small beach town, really, really small. I looked it up once, and the total population in Sayulita was like 3,000 people. Just tiny, super tiny. When we came to San Miguel de Allende, it literally took us 3 days of being here to then realize that we wanted to stay a little bit longer. But we have plans after being in San Miguel de Allende to go to Mexico City. So if we do end up coming back to stay longer, it'll be after Mexico City, probably after we go to see Oaxaca. And then maybe we'll return here for a few months. You want to know the things that I love about San Miguel de Allende? Right off the bat, one of my favorite things, the weather. Here, it's just much cooler than it was in Sayulita. And the weather in Sayulita, because we were there for summer and it's a beach town on the coast, it was hot and humid and sometimes unbearable to be outside or to be away from air conditioning. So during the summer, we spent more time inside than we really wanted to, but that was just us learning about the different climates that you can experience in Mexico. So now we are in the mountains, or at a higher elevation at least, in San Miguel de Allende. Actually, when I look outside my window, I can see like mountains or rolling hills off in the distance, and it's actually said that those hills in the distance are full of rose quartz, and that San Miguel de Allende is actually built on a bed of rose quartz. Another thing that I really, really love is the cute little restaurants that are just sprinkled everywhere. We're in a neighborhood called San Antonio, which is actually a 15-minute walk from the Centro. The Centro is just like the hub where everyone gathers. There's all kinds of businesses. It's very touristic up in the Centro. Really, really beautiful architecture, colonial design, very romantic. It's beautiful in the day and the night. There are activities in the day and the night. It's way less club and bar scene here in San Miguel. Way more like classy restaurants, some live music that happens all of the time. And they do set off random fireworks at odd, to me it's odd, times of the day, sometimes in the morning and even just different times of the week where I didn't realize there was some sort of celebration going on. So that's interesting and cool. Something else is that the neighborhood that we're actually in, San Antonio, is very local. And so there are many Mexican families living around us. And there is a big market here in San Antonio. And all of the shop owners speak Spanish, which is really cool because I get to practice my Spanish, which is super different than what I was experiencing when we were in Sayulita, because in Sayulita, so many people speak English. Like you could just get away with not learning Spanish at all. I find it a little bit rude that if you're going to be in Mexico for an extended period of time, say over a year, then it's just my personal opinion that learning Spanish should be a priority so that you can converse with the locals and make friends who speak Spanish and who are Mexican, who are, from the land that you have landed on. But here in San Miguel, it's really easy to find just people who speak Spanish. I know that's weird to say being in Mexico, but it's true. So if you ever go to Sayulita, you'll notice that what I'm saying is true. It's very easy to just get away with English. And then here in San Miguel, unless you're up at the Centro, when you're in the surrounding neighborhoods, you would be well served speaking at least a little bit of Spanish. The shops here are also really beautiful. The little artisan markets here are so beautiful. I really enjoy just like walking around and getting to peer into the various doorways because the city is built in a really fortressy kind of way. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's like the outside of buildings are like big walls, not very many windows, and then there'll be a doorway into a courtyard or a doorway into an area of just multiple shops, or just peering into these doorways kind of leads you into immersive worlds that you can't see from just the street, right? And the reason why it was built this way was because during the time it was intentionally built up to be fortressy, to protect the people who were inside of the building. So now there's very little need for the heavy duty protection of the high walls and the fortress-like buildings. It's all very welcoming. The doorways are so often decorated with flowers, and when you look through the doorways, there's just the beautiful worlds that you can step into. So it's really interesting to walk around the city and take advantage of all the eye candy that is all around you. To sum things up, we really just only got here, and I'm excited to show more of what I'm seeing. As for right now, we'll be exploring more markets, hotels, an organic farm, hot springs, etc. So if you're into exploring places outside of where you're from, stick around, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you'd be interested in seeing more of. Thanks for watching. I'm Jen Navarro, and I'll see you in the next video.